Hey everybody, Hoople's Cat. This is a VR response to Bug Out Brad's video from last Saturday, I believe. He put out a video on learn to fast or you will suffer an SHTF, which is kind of interesting.
And get it out there. I think that the biggest challenge for any prepper is going to be cravings. One of the biggest challenges is going to be cravings. I don't think people understand what it's like to go without food, any food, for 24 hours. Never mind a meal or 2 meals or 3 meals. And I'm not talking about people who've been homeless before, but the average person can't go 24 hours without food. And until you learn how to do that and train your body into doing it, it's like withdrawing off of alcohol or drugs, I would assume. I've had a hard time drinking.
Alright, that's enough of Brad. Check out the link, watch the video. Brad does really short, snappy videos that are actually cohesive and interesting. Bit of a contrast with mine. So anyway, it was 5 to midnight and I was at work on a 12-hour shift in the hospital, and I watched the video, and first off, I think he's wrong. I think if I have no food at all in SHTF, I've failed in my preps. If I can't get some dandelion leaves, if I can't strip some bark, if I can't find a cachet preserved food, I think I'm in trouble. But at the same time, he's right. There might come an occasion where fasting for a period of time is a good idea. You may underestimate the amount of food that you need to go from A to B, or you may spend longer going from A to B than you anticipated, and rationing I think is what I would do, but there might come a time where you may have to function on 0 calories in for 24 to 48 hours. And having now never done a fast as an older adult, it sounded kind of easy to me. I had as a teenager some bouts with depression, and I spent about 5 days at one point in bed, several times actually, not eating or drinking at all. Luckily I avoided kidney failure. So I thought this would be kind of fun. So literally I was halfway through the food I had for that night, and it was 5 to midnight, and I just said, okay, that's it. And I figured that I would use smoothies and all the rest of it that I normally would have anyway, but I didn't. Leslie was away recuperating with her foot, and I stopped eating. And I didn't eat again for well over 48 hours. And during that 48 hours, I did approximately 24 hours of work, and I did quite a lot of physical work in the house as well. So I thought that was an important thing. I think you can fast if there's no food around and if you're not doing anything. I thought if there's lots of food around and you've got work to do and you have to do it, what would happen? And for me, it was an interesting experiment because I got a little lightheaded at times. But the main thing I really noticed going into the second 24 hours of complete fasting, apart from a tiny amount of soy milk and coffee, I didn't stop drinking coffee or water. That was actually all I had. I found my sleep pattern was really destroyed. I couldn't sleep very well. I was tired all the time, but at the same time strangely energetic. I didn't feel very comfortable. I lost about 4.5 pounds over the 2.5–3 days, which I not surprisingly put back on within 4 or 5 days. That's why fasts aren't really a great way of weight loss. And it was interesting. And I actually went for about 12 hours after Leslie got back, and she spent most of that day cooking because she can't do much, so she's doing a lot of cooking. And yeah, it was a thank you, Brad. It was an interesting experiment, and I still maintain if you have to fast in SHTF, something's gone wrong, but I agree, it's important to be able to deprive yourself and function. And I think the functional part was the interesting part. The more I physically did, the better I felt. But I definitely on the 3rd day was really interested in what people had eaten, or what people were eating, or what people had had when we went out for dinner. But I don't think I ever got to a point where I was desperate. And the reason I broke the fast was because Leslie was back and it was 8 o'clock at night, and I decided I wanted to have some red wine and a sandwich with her, and I did. So thank you, Brad. Check out Brad's video, it's great. And from Hoople's Cat, au revoir.